Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I look forward to sharing more about the Paycor partnership with Concordia Technology Solutions. A few quick items that I wanted to mention before we jump into introductions. I mentioned just a minute ago, I am going to be recording this session. So you'll be able to share the link with any other internal teams that you have, as well as any other stakeholders at your organization. So this recording will be shared out after our discussion today. Everybody is muted, but if you have questions throughout, you should see a Q&A chat feature at the bottom of your screen. So feel free to post your questions there, and we can answer those as best we can as we go along. Otherwise, we will give some Q&A time at the end as we wrap up. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. Rob, can you see that okay?
Yep, I can.
Okay, wonderful. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time going through introductions from Paycor and Concordia Technology Solutions, as well as introduce you all to who Paycor is and talk about the partnership with Concordia Technology Solutions as well. And then we will jump into the meat and potatoes of the presentation today, which will be the product demonstration of Paycor solution. And then, of course, we will wrap with any questions that we didn't get to and some closing remarks from the group. So here are the speakers today, and I'll start. My name is Jacqueline Kemp, and I help support the Paycor and CTS relationship, working directly with Rob. I have been in business-to-business sales for about 9 years. I've been lucky enough to work for Paycor for 2 years at this point. I live in the Midwest, in Southern Illinois area, actually, close to the St. Louis Arch. So I'm just over the river in Troy, Illinois. And my director here at the bottom of the screen, his name is Brett Allen. He isn't on the webinar today, but I wanted to include him here because he actually started the partnership with Concordia Technology Solutions, and he brings about 15 years of experience to the payroll and HR space. He's specifically knowledgeable in the ministry space as well, so I have a lot of expertise on my team to help bring value to the mutual clients that both Paycor and CTS work with. And I'll dive more into what that partnership looks like in just a minute. But before I do, Rob, I wanted to give you the floor to introduce yourself.
Great. Hey, thanks. So like Jacqueline said, my name is Rob Davidson. I'm the manager, one of the managers here in kind of CTS. I kind of really work with all of our partners and our software consultant team on helping our customers figure out the right fit when it comes to church management products, as well as then the other solutions that integrate with those products. I think I'll have a chance in a little bit to talk about why we love this relationship with Paycor and why we chose them to be our preferred partner. But I've had 2 years with Concordia Technology Solutions, and it's been wonderful to be able to learn and grow and to work with people as phenomenal as the Paycor team.
That's awesome. We love to hear that, Rob. Last, Brian, whose face you see here on this slide. Brian is one of our solutions experts here at Paycor. He's going to be leading the product demonstration today. So Brian, I wanted to give you a moment to share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Brian Shute. I'm a solutions expert here with Paycor. So my job is really all things product. Been with Paycor for a little bit over 3 years at this point, but been in the HCM space for, about 7.5, 8 years now. So I'll be the one driving majority of the conversation today. As we go through, feel free to chime in with questions via the chat. And then, like Jacqueline mentioned, we'll open it up for Q&A towards the end of the demonstration. But looking forward to showing you all what Paycor has to offer.
Thanks, Brian. Moving forward, before we talk a little bit more about the partnership, I wanted just to introduce the folks who are not familiar with Paycor to some highlights about our company. So Paycor has over 30 years experience in the HCM space, and we started out simply providing payroll services, but we've expanded our portfolio of products to really meet the needs of our clients to bring value in all aspects of the employee life cycle, which you'll see today when we jump into the product demonstration. One of the key things that I like to highlight on this slide here is that over 50% of our customers come from either current clients who currently utilize our services or from the valued partnerships that we have with organizations like Concordia Technology Solutions. So we truly value these relationships, and what that means is that you're getting that personalized care from Paycor that you need to ensure that you're successful with a solution like ours. And then here at the bottom, just a quick call out. As you can see, there's no shortage of awards here. We've been recognized from items like customer service excellence, product innovation, as well as our DE&I initiatives. And then finally, like we mentioned, we wanted to highlight some key aspects of the partnership with Concordia Technology Solutions. So why do Christian leaders choose Paycor? Well, the partnership started as we saw a need to help bring support to our mutual clients from a different angle than other payroll companies really just can't offer. First, Paycor really understands the ministry space and the complexities that you might find in your payroll. Right now, we have over 6,000 nonprofit faith-based organizations just like yours. We provide all of our CTS clients with nonprofit payroll and tax specialists who are very versed in your space. In addition to the customer support aspect, we also offer a one-on-one hands-on implementation experience to all of our CTS accounts. So we're really matching you with that implementation specialist on the front end who understands your industry to make sure that there's a smooth transition into our technology for all of your stakeholders. And then finally, we offer integrations into your 403Bs in your accounting software like Shepherd Staff, like Rob had mentioned earlier, to really help automate those pieces of the payroll. And Rob, I'll pause just if you'd like to add any insight to this slide as well.
Yeah, so I believe it was about a year and a half ago where we started evaluating potential partners for, to integrate with our Shepherd Staff software. We've had other payroll solutions to be able to bring data in, but we've never really made a partnership official until we decided to work with Paycor. So after spending a lot of time evaluating market leaders, we decided that Paycor was going to be the best option for our customers for numerous reasons. And I think Jacqueline's really touched on a lot of those, but just how they work with our team, our customers that we send over, and their understanding of ministry and all the pieces that includes when it comes to the payroll part of running a church-based organization. We've been really impressed with everything we've seen, whereas other potential partners are these huge faceless companies that really couldn't care less about our team, let alone our customers. And I think being able to see that heart behind these really smart solutions just naturally drew us that, hey, Paycor, they're going to have our best interest, our customers' best interest at heart. And so let's make it official and let's have like a real preferred partnership with them.
Yep, couldn't agree more, Rob.
What was that?
I said, couldn't agree more. You hit the nail on the head there. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it to Brian and stop sharing. But before I did that, just wanted to quickly high-level review the demo topics that we'll be reviewing with you all today. Again, this demo is more high-level to give you a look into the system. And then definitely, if there's interest there to engage more with the solution, you can reach out to either myself or Rob, and we can schedule a more customized demo to give you some more detail and just ensure that our solution would be a good fit for your needs. So we'll talk a little bit about the homepage and the interactive dashboard, moving on to what onboarding would look like for any new hires you have. We will talk about the employee profile and how our solution will be able to be a truly centralized HR system of record, timekeeping as well, if that's something that your organization would need to utilize. And then, of course, show you payroll and reporting, and then the mobile capabilities that would be available to your employees as well. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will toss it to Brian to jump in.
All righty. Thanks for that, Jacqueline. And Jacqueline, if you don't mind, just monitor the chat for me. And if there's any question that we need to pause and answer in real time, we can certainly do that.
Absolutely.
All righty. So again, thanks everyone for joining. Quick lay of the land here before we jump into the technology itself. What you're seeing on the screen is the Paycor home dashboard. I'm logged in as Michael in this example. So he is the administrator, he's a manager, he's also obviously an employee himself. Reason I call that out is Michael, as the administrator, does only have a single login, right? So he's not going to be toggling back and forth using two different personas, one for his employee view, one for his personal view. Some systems do it that way. Our system is kind of all in one screen here. So everything over on the left is going to be anything administrative that Michael potentially would need to do. Up here in the top right corner is going to be anything related to his personal self. So things like his pay stubs, his time card, anything related to him as the employee. Now, the system's user access rights driven. So really what that means for you all is that the look and feel of the platform is going to be very much the same for every employee. Just based off of their access rights will really determine what they can see on the dashboard and what they can access throughout the system as a whole. Now, the dashboard itself is designed to be your command center, if you will. So you'll have access to several different widgets on the dashboard that are designed to give you a quick little snapshot of different areas of the platform, but they're also interactable. So you're just one click away of really diving into anything from the dashboard itself to manage that information from there. You can customize the widgets. They are product suite driven. So depending on the product suite that our clients decide to go with, determines what can be turned on and off. But once you have those available, you can turn them on and off, and you can also move them around the screen to put them in the order that makes the most sense. This engage widget is designed to be like your message board. So anything that you want the entire organization to be aware of, this is typically where you'll see our clients post that information out. There is a social media aspect to it. So employees can comment on it. They can use emojis to like them, ask questions through those. Team widget is designed for anyone that has direct reports, ability to quickly see those employees, view their time cards, get notified of birthdays, anniversaries, etc. And then an onboarding widget down here at the bottom. This is going to show you where each of those new hires are at in that onboarding process. So our onboarding process is designed to be electronic. We're going to walk through what that employee would see in that onboarding experience here in just a moment, but this is going to give you that little snapshot for the administrator to see where each of those new hires are at. Up on the right-hand side are going to be your time widgets. So time insights will show you things like who's clocked in, who's clocked out, if that is the process of collecting time that you'll use. It'll also show you things like missed punches or anything else that you want to be alerted of as it pertains to time right here on the dashboard. And then again, just one click away of diving into time cards to review, approve, make adjustments as needed. And then last widget down here in the right corner is the time off widget, where employees can request time and see their available balances that they have to manage through the remainder of that year. Okay. Customize button lives up here in the top right center of the screen. This is where you're going to be able to turn things on and off, move them around the screen. Contact us button. This is how our clients get in touch with Paycor. I did want to quickly just highlight this. We do pride ourselves on our customer service capabilities, several different ways of getting in touch with Paycor, and we can dive into the customer service model if you all are interested in kind of moving on and exploring this platform in further detail. But We have a live chat feature in here, which is amazing. It is not bot driven. It is with a live human right off the get-go, and response times around that are hovering right around 30 seconds. So really quick, we're getting back to our clients, and that's super important. If there's ever an issue within the platform, we're getting those items resolved really quick through the different chains of communication that you can reach out to us through. Now, to kind of kick off that employee life cycle, the onboarding experience is really where that starts. So to kick off an invitation through the system, you're going to use this Manage People button here at the top of the screen. When you click on that as the admin, you're first and foremost going to see a holistic view of all of your employees. You can sort, filter, search here. Your new hire button lives over here on the right-hand side. To get the invite sent to that new hire, you'll need a few pieces of information. So first name, last name, email address, start date, and work location are all required fields. Social security number will be filled out by the new hire, so don't worry about that box. Next step is the ability for us to store documents in various onboarding groups. So the use case for onboarding groups are if you have different groups of new hires that sign different documents, and that could be based off of anything really, you can organize those documents into these various groups. And then when you hire someone, it's just as simple as assigning them to that specific group. So only the documents that apply to the group that we assign them to will show up during that onboarding process. And then last step is the ability for the system to automate any internal tasks or communication that needs to be sent out for this new hire to have a successful first week, first day, whatever that may look like for you all. So this is entirely customizable. Basically, the system is going to alert these people over here on the right that they have these actions to complete over here on the left. So I created this generic task template. You can have as many of them as you would like, and utilize them for any tasks that you want to get completed for this new hire to have that successful first day or first week. From here, that new hire is going to get a link in their email. That's going to bring them to their onboarding experience. And that's going to look something similar to this, where they will simply work down this left-hand side here to complete all the required fields. Now, first welcome page here, this is fully customizable. It'll be your logo, not the Paycor logo. If you have a welcome video that you want to include, you certainly can. A couple different language options. If that is ever a need, employees or new hires can toggle between these three. And this is also mobile optimized, so they don't need a desktop to complete this. They can do this all from their phone. First two steps, pretty straightforward. They'll fill out all that personal information in this section here. Next step, contact information, same concept, pretty straightforward. And then I-9 verification in the next step. Again, pretty straightforward process here. Our system builds upon itself as they work down this left-hand side. So because of that, we'll start to automate some of the next steps in the process. This is an example of one of those. So they're just going to answer a couple of additional questions here, and then the system is going to generate an I-9 form for them entirely filled out with their information. So we'll remove the responsibility from the new hire, essentially fill out the document for them, really minimizing any mistakes that they could potentially make. We'll just populate the data for them. And then they will sign at the bottom with the last four of their social and create an electronic signature. And we do have a direct integration with E-Verify if anyone is curious about that. That is something that the system does include. Next step in the process is the ability for that new hire to set up direct deposit if they want to participate in direct deposit. They'll fill out those account numbers and routing numbers down below. They can have as many accounts as they want. So if they want to split that check up several different ways, they certainly can. Next step is tax setup. Pretty straightforward step here as well. Similar to a TurboTax wizard-driven process, we'll walk them through a series of guided steps, questions, ultimately collecting the data we need to apply the correct state, local, federal taxes, and then also fill out the W-4 form for them. The additional information section is entirely customizable, so you can truly collect any data that you want here. What you're seeing on the screen are just examples, so kind of ignore those, but pay attention to the 3 formats in which you can collect the data. Those options are free format text box, drop-down items for them to choose from, and then upload capability. So if there's anything that you need them to upload, licenses, certifications, whatever that may be, you can purpose that area here for that. And then the last section is the document section. This is where they're going to sign off on those documents that you would have any new hire sign off on. This is where those onboarding groups come into play. So we assigned Carrie Smith to a specific onboarding group. Here are those documents associated with it. She'll set up an electronic signature and sign off on each document and policy. The system will timestamp, IP address stamp, and sign every page of every document, no matter how long it is. So you'll see that in the bottom right corner of each document. And that's really it for onboarding. So again, we try to streamline it, make it super simple for the employee to get through this, automating some steps along the way. And then ultimately what we did during this process was we created their one unified employee profile where all this information is essentially going to live for the employees to view it whenever they need to, also for you as administrators to view it. Employees will have self-service capabilities of making changes to anything that we collected here. So if they ever need to change their direct deposit accounts, they absolutely can. Those will go through a workflow where someone will have to review it and approve it before it goes live, but they do certainly have that ability to make those adjustments whenever they need to. All right. So moving right along here, I did want to jump into the employee profile and just show you what that looks like and what's all housed in there. So it really is designed to be a central location for all things that employee. It's going to look something similar to this. Now, keep in mind, I'm looking at Phil's profile from an admin view. If Phil were to log into his own self-service portal, he's going to see almost this identical flow, just a few items underneath the categories over here on the left. Some of them are admin function only, but look, feel, format of it is going to be exactly the same for those standard employees that are looking at their own profile. The summary page, which is what I have up on the screen here, is designed to show you some just quick information, things like personal information, job title, who they report to, some shortcuts that you can utilize from here quickly. So if you ever needed to terminate somebody, this change status button would allow for that. Change position and pay, where you can go to change someone's position, give them a raise. Everything else is categorized over here on the left. So pay and tax dropdown is going to include all that pay information, tax information, earnings, deduction codes. Time is going to be anything time related. So it could be time card, time policies, time off information, scheduling criteria, if anyone is going to need to use our scheduling tool. The position dropdown is going to include anything related to that individual's position. So all the documents that they sign during onboarding will flow in here post onboarding. You can upload new documents manually if you ever need to. If you've signed something outside of the system, you can bring that information in. We also have a document library built in the platform where you can create new documents, edit old ones, and then also push those out for electronic signature in bulk to employees. And then once they sign, obviously those will flow back in here as well. Personal dropdown is going to include anything I-9 related, certifications or licenses. If there's ever a need to track that information, we can house that in here. The system will hold expiration dates on those as well. So system can proactively alert anyone when those items are set to expire. And then a performance section here. Performance wasn't a part of the agenda today. I did just want to quickly highlight that if anyone is interested in taking a look at our performance management platform, we do have a rather robust platform as it pertains to that, where you can do your annual reviews, you know, any type of performance measurement that you would typically do, the system is certainly capable of handling. And then last but not least, in this section here is the ability to create the OSHA logs. So if anyone were to slip and get hurt on site, you can create those OSHA logs right from the system, get that information reported. report on it whenever you need to, review it, make adjustments to it, right from their employee record. All right, moving right along here. So again, just kind of last statement here, again, really truly designed to make your life easy. We don't want you to have to go to several different parts of our system to find anything on an employee. It'll all be organized here, just underneath these respected categories over here on the left. So switching gears, I'm gonna jump into the employee record and just showcase what they would see when they would log into their platform. Again, it's gonna look very similar. This is now Michelle's file, not to be confused with Michael. This is now Michelle. Michelle is just a standard employee. As you can see, the flow and the format of it, very similar, just less information on our dashboard that she'll have access to. Time is where I wanted to move next. So I was going to show it to you from the dashboard. I'll also open up the mobile device just to showcase the functionality of our mobile app as well. But we do have several different ways of capturing time. That includes clocking in and out, whether that's from a desktop, like I'm showing here, on a mobile device, same concept, clock in and out from a mobile device. We do have the ability to simply just have the employees fill out an electronic timesheet, whether that's just a total amount of hours per day or start and end times, whatever method you all want to utilize, entirely up to you. And you can mix and match the methods. Doesn't need to be a one size fits all. You can have, some employees do it one way, others do it a different way. From a clock in, clock out standpoint from the desktop, it's going to look something like this. They'll come in here and simply hit that create punch button, determine in or out up here at the top, and finalize that punch below. Now, for anyone that does have needs for like labor allocation, if we're allocating time to a project or a grant or a fund, whatever that may be, you can have additional layers down below here where they can pick and choose those items that they're going to be allocating that time to. Similar to what the department option looks like here. Obviously, this is for allocating to specific departments, but if there were needs for other items down below, we can have up to 6 more. So just know that that functionality is there. From a mobile standpoint, it's going to look very, very similar, just obviously on a mobile device. So view is going to look a little different, but same functionality. And really, while this is loading, I'll just briefly explain the concept of the mobile device. Employees can really do anything that they can do on their phone, on the mobile device, that they can do on their desktop. So in theory, employees don't ever need to log on to the computer. They can do it all from their phone. I'll show you the clock in, clock out piece first, and then I'll scroll down the rest of the mobile app just to showcase what's all included in that. But right here at the top is where they can go ahead and create those punches. And then same concept that we saw on the desktop view. They'll simply determine in or out. And then again, if labor allocations are needed, they would be down below. And they'll finalize that punch with that submit button. And we'll look at the approval of time process here in just a moment, but while I'm on the mobile device, I did just want to quickly scroll down the page here and just show all that's included. So again, I'm logged in as an employee, so less information on an employee's mobile device than an admin or a manager would have. Admins and managers also have admin functionality on their mobile device. So similar concept, same thing can be done from the desktop that can be done on the phone. Scheduling information, pay and tax information. If anyone ever needs to record expenses in our platform, we do have an expense module. And then so on and so forth with all the rest of the modules that Paycor offers as the full HCM suite. Learning management, performance management, benefits, task notifications, all accessible right from their phone. All right. So switching gears, we're going to look at the approval of time process, and then we're going to jump into payroll. So from a time approval standpoint, we're going to view the time for the period on the time dashboard. Now you can get to it right from this time insights widget. You can click on this view dashboard button, and this is going to pull up all the time that we collected for that period. Up here at the top, admins will have the ability to sort and filter by several different categories. By default, managers will only have access to their direct reports unless you determine that you want them to have access to others. We do have the ability to give custom access to anything to anybody within the platform, so you do have options there. Down below, you'll see all the time that we collected for the period. So names, punch times. If you are planning to use a scheduling tool through us, you will see their scheduled hours next to their punch times. So you can quickly kind of compare and contrast those two. If you ever need to go into an employee's time card to see specifics or make any adjustments to it, you simply just click on the name. It's going to showcase what the electronic time card looks like. This is also what it would look like if an employee was not clocking in and clocking out, but simply just adding time to a time card. It would look something like this in this format here. And again, they could simply add start and end times or just hours that they worked in that given day. You have options there as well. If you ever do need to make edits to anything, you can simply click on these little dots here, make those adjustments. Any change to a time card, or actually any change within the platform at all, is logged in an audit log. So there's always proof to see what was changed and who actually made it. Approval button up here at the top on the timesheet view. You can also toggle to the next time card with these little arrows above. Or if you prefer the initial view that we were on, the time dashboard, more simplified view, you can approve from this page here. These little arrows will show you any labor allocation if anyone's allocating labor. Haven't gotten to time off requests yet. I'm going to jump there next. But if there are any pending time off requests that have not yet been approved, you will get flagged here, letting you know that before you approve these timesheets, you might want to go in and approve those time off requests that are still pending. Bulk approve all button. This allows you to approve timesheets in bulk. And then the next logical step was, once we get time information approved, is to pay the employees. Before I jump there, I did want to quickly just highlight the ability to request time off and then also approve the time off. So from the dashboard, requesting time, pretty straightforward. We'll build out all of your policies in the platform and give employees the ability to pick and choose from the various buckets that you all offer. Once they make that selection, they'll simply just choose the days of the week that they want off. And the system's going to show them what their available balance is and then what the new balance will be after that is approved. From a time off approval standpoint, similar concept to the time dashboard, there's also a time off dashboard where you'll have the ability to see all the time that was requested off in a given period. So names, department, dates submitted, hours that they have available, hours that they requested, and then approve buttons over here on the right. There's also a calendar view of this. So if you're more of a visual person like I am and want to see how many people have requested off in a given day, this view might be better for you. You'll see each individual's requests on the day of the week that those came through. And then same concept, you would just click on that individual's name and have the ability to approve or deny down here below. All right. So switching gears again, we're going to talk a little payroll. So payroll, again, use that left drop-down navigation tool. And this is what the first step of payroll will look like. So in this example, I have two different pay groups. I have a weekly and a bi-weekly next 2 weeks. If I wanted to in our solution, I could work out in advance up to 12 months. So you can load your next 12 months of pay runs. Any one of these can be started whenever you need to. You don't need to wait for these pay period dates to come around. You wouldn't have time information yet, obviously, for those dates in the future. But if you ever needed to make an adjustment to a future pay run, you can jump into it at any point. To begin the current pay run, you'll simply just click on that begin button. And the first step once you get to this page is to bring in those timesheets. So you're going to click on that import button. It's going to drag in those timesheets that we approved in the time platform. You'll get a quick preview of the hours that are being dragged in. And then you'll see that on this next screen, which is the pay grid. So yours may look a little different just based off of the different earning codes or deduction codes that you want visible on your pay grid, but the flow format's going to be same concept. Paying individuals over here on the left, departments that they're associated with, rates for the hourly individuals, work week that this is applying to. And then these are all just example earning codes. First two columns are referring to those timesheets I pulled in. Third column is referring to the few salaried individuals that are on this pay run. Those don't need to be imported or uploaded. Those will just populate automatically since they're tied to their employee profile. To adjust the grid in any way, you can drag and drop columns. You can add additional columns with various earning codes, various deduction codes, whatever you want visible on yours. Again, entirely up to you. These earning codes will mirror the earning codes that you all will utilize in your world. So what you're seeing on the screen are just examples. This essentially is a giant spreadsheet, so you can key in information if you ever needed to, but you can also import an Excel file and have it flow to the appropriate column. So if you're doing any more than just a couple entries and it's already on Excel somewhere, I would simply import it and make your life a little easier. If you click on an individual's name on the left-hand side, you'll get a further breakdown of everything. So you'll see all their earnings broken out by earning code. Same concept with deductions. Gross to net button is going to show you everything kind of lumped in on one screen. Once everything looks good on this page, the last step is to review the pay run. So next page is your pre-post page. It's where you'll see various reports that you can review before actually hitting the approve button. So pre-post reports over here on the far right. The pre-post journal is essentially the payroll register. It's going to break out everyone's check line by line, show you hours, earnings, deductions, taxes, gross net pay. And then some additional reporting information down below, liability information, pay group totals. If anything looks off after reviewing this data, you simply can just click right back to the pay grid, make your adjustment, and then the last step is really to hit that approve button in the top right corner. This will send it over to Paycor for processing. So these reports that you see over here, these are all pre-post reports. There is a reporting section where you can get this same data post-post and various other information that you may want to run reports on. No shortage of data when it comes to reports. We have several different ways of accessing it. All of your canned payroll reports will be accessible online whenever you need them. This is also where any tax reporting will live. And then we have the ability to customize any sort of report that you would typically run pretty easily. You do have templates that are pre-built in here for you that you can utilize as is. You can also customize them and adjust, different date ranges, different data fields. Just pull up one of these just to show you the concept. What's nice is that when you click on a template, you'll have the ability to adjust, what is or what isn't going to be included simply by checking or unchecking these boxes. Filtering capabilities, if you want to look at certain departments or certain date ranges, you can adjust that here. Once you get all the data set that you want, the system's going to spit out a preview of what that report will look like before it's actually exported. So you can confirm that you got all the correct fields that you were intending on having on this report. And then you'll have export options up here in the top right corner. CSV, Excel, PDF. You can also share and schedule these reports. So if you need a certain report on a certain frequency, you can kind of set it and forget it in our system, set the date and time that you want it to be delivered to you. And then really you're hands off, the system's just going to send it to you via email on that date and frequency that you determined. So pretty easy to build reports, schedule. Every data point in our solution is reportable on. So just a matter of using and finding the template and adjusting it to the appropriate information that you want included. So Jacqueline, keep me honest. I think I hit everything that we were intending to go through, and just so you all know, there's a lot more that we can show and go into detail on. So again, if anyone is interested in exploring this further, let us know. And we're happy to schedule some one-off time with you all. But Jacqueline, just confirm, if you would, that I hit everything that we were intending on going through.
You certainly did. We appreciate it so much, Brian.
Awesome.
Yeah, like Brian said, this is it's a high level look into the software. However, there's a lot more that we didn't touch on, of course. And if those conversations are needed to do a more customized solution demo, we're happy to do that. If there's things that you're curious to see, or even just diving more into the modules that Brian covered today. And while I don't see any questions in the Q&A chat, if anybody has any, feel free to throw those in there. We do have a little bit of time left. So if anybody does have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. While you guys are working on that, if you have any, just some closing remarks that I will share with the group. So just to give you all a little bit of an idea, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I think it might be helpful if anybody is curious. So at Paycor, our pricing structure is a little bit different than our competitors, if you're familiar with our space at all. At Paycor, we have a monthly price structure where we base the pricing off of your active employees and then a flat monthly rate. And most of the time you'll see in our space, you are charged on a per processing basis, which can be a little sticky if you have some off-cycle pay runs, if you have to cut some manual checks, or maybe you're running a bonus or anything like that. Having a monthly flat rate is a little bit helpful for budgets, if you will. So we're a little unique in that way. And again, happy to dive in more detail with anybody who's interested. But we also have different pricing tiers. So maybe what Brian showed today is even a little bit more than what you need. We have some basic packages as well as some more complex packages that allow you to really fit what you all would need as far as meeting the needs of your organization. So again, happy to discuss that one-off with anybody who's interested and getting some pricing. And we're actually entering our last quarter of our fiscal year here at Paycor, which means that we do have some really great promotions and incentives to jump on board. And the beauty here at Paycor is we can take a look at some things for you right now. And if you have a time frame in mind that you're looking to make a switch, we can certainly work with you on that. There's no hard and fast go live date that you're going to be held to. It's all based on the timeline that's ideal for your organization. So a lot of flexibility when it comes to that piece of it. I don't see any questions in the chat feature, so I will let everybody have some more time back in their day. You certainly can reach out to me or Rob directly if you have some questions or you'd like to set up a more one-on-one conversation. And again, we will share the recorded link out with everybody after the fact. And Rob, unless you have some closing comments, we'll go ahead and let everybody get back to their day.
No, I don't. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And thank you everyone for joining in with us today.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Brian. Bye-bye.